Welcome back, my loves. This is the Copewell Podcast, and I'm your host, Dr. Ashley. This is another mini-sode, hopefully a quick episode to give you some quick skills and tips on coping effectively. And today I wanted to talk about art therapy. And if you think you're not artistic, stay with me, because this has nothing to do with talent, has nothing to do with making something beautiful. It's about making something true. So I use a lot of art therapy with the kids I support, and I feel like it's one of the most powerful and maybe underutilized tools we have for processing trauma and moving emotions through the body and healing in ways that words sometimes just can't reach. The research behind it is really solid. When we've experienced something painful, especially something that's happened before we had language for it, or something so overwhelming that maybe we couldn't fully process it at the time, we know it gets stored in the body and in the nervous system, not just the mind, because the mind can even play tricks on us with how we remember the past, right? We can change memories, and some of that can be a protection mechanism. I like art therapy when talk therapy isn't maybe accessible, because sometimes the thing that's stored isn't accessible through language and through talking. And sometimes people, especially young kids who've experienced terrible experiences, they just don't have the words. They don't have the language there. So the therapy and how we work towards healing needs a different door. And so that's why art therapy can be super helpful in helping heal the body and heal the trauma we've experienced. Let's talk about some specific activities for kids or adults and why they work. One thing to try is free drawing or painting with no agenda. So you're not making anything in particular, just putting color or shape on paper and letting your hand go wherever it wants to go. This can be a powerful tool because it bypasses the analytical brain, right? The part that maybe judges or wants to control, and let something just more raw and honest come through. And for kids, you might just put out paints and paper and play music and just say, make whatever you feel. And I've done this before in sessions. Adults might be a little bit different. You could say, like, draw with your non-dominant hand, something like that. It can be humbling, but it can also be freeing, and it does tend to unlock things. Another activity is emotion mapping. You could draw or paint an outline of the body. I've seen groups do this before. It can just be a simple body outline, like a silhouette, and then use colors to fill in where you feel different emotions in the body. This is a great awareness tool, and it's something I've used with groups of kids for many years. Have them color in where their anxiety tends to hang out, or if they feel joy in their body, where does that live? A lot of the kids are really good at showing their anger and how that shows up in clenched fists, for example. So this comes directly from somatic and mindfulness practice. It's the idea that emotions have physical locations, and naming them spatially, like where they live, can help us process them again because we're bringing awareness to them. Kids respond very well to this one. It gives them language for something they often can't verbalize. A lot of times we don't know the why, but we know the what and the how, for example. Another fun one that I learned from an art therapist that I've collaborated with is using clay, or I think she called it sensory sculpting. There's something cool and regulating about working with your hands with this like tactile physical medium. I do it often with Play-Doh for some of the children I support. So either pressing or shaping it or squeezing the Play-Doh or clay. That can be very grounding just by nature. And it brings you into your body and into the present moment. So for kids who've experienced trauma, especially, again, those that may struggle with verbal expression. The Play-Doh can help explain so much. Let them make whatever they want. Let them show their emotions with it. Let them, flatten it, destroy it if they want. That's just part of the process. The thread connecting all of these ideas, all of these different art therapy activities, yes, they are all mindful. They pull you into the present moment, but they also give your nervous system something gentle and absorbing to focus on. I heard one of my coaches say once that we are supposed to create. Humans were born to create. And so anytime we can let ourselves express and create, helps those suppressed emotions within us, whether it's traumatic or not. So art therapy helps let the emotions move, whether it's through your hands, through color, through shape, instead of staying stuck somewhere, typically in our chest or our gut, or tension in our shoulders. And you don't have to know what you're feeling before you start. Sometimes it evolves and you find out kind of while you're in the art project. And that's really the whole point. The point isn't to create art, you're creating space for something that needed to come out safely and on our own terms. So if you're supporting someone who has experienced trauma, or maybe they just need some healing, I'd encourage you to try an art therapy activity or a project this week. Something low pressure. There's no wrong answers with this. And if you're an adult carrying something heavy, give yourself the same permission to create and to heal, to make something, anything, and just see what comes. See if you feel lighter. See if you're able to express your emotions during the activity. Just be open to seeing what happens. Improving mental health is often a journey of healing and accepting our emotions. And so even taking these little ideas, I hope it helps you to heal something inside of you. Share this with anyone you think could use the encouraging message today. And I'll talk to you guys in the next episode or mini-sode. Cope well.